FBI director. For some inexplicable reason, Christopher Wray is now stonewalling the investigation into the investigators every step of the way. That is not a good sign for cleaning up what I have said, and I have an FBI pin right there with the American flag, is the premier law enforcement agency in the world. News report, investigative reporter, executive vice president of The Hill, John Solomon. So I'm reading your piece. We had critical, crucial, key information, and you can even point to where we could find it. Yeah. And Comey did not allow his investigators access to it. Why?
It's an unclear answer, whether it was a blunder or an intentional effort to bury evidence. We don't know the answer to that. And what's disturbing about the fact that we don't know the answer is that the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, identified this failure in the Clinton email case a year ago. A year ago. We've had two attorney generals since then, Jeff Sessions and now Bill Barr. We've had Chris Wray in charge all that time. And despite numerous letters from Senators Grassley and Johnson, the Justice Department has yet to respond to let us know whether even now, after the fact, they went to look at this evidence that the FBI agents themselves said was very important for them to see before they finished the Clinton email case.
The Attorney General was asked by Senator Grassley, and you point this out in your column in his confirmation hearing, whether or not he would give a written report. So where does that stand
at this hour? That was 8 months ago. There's been no response. Crickets to the Senate. And again, the American public are left in the dark, and it creates that perception, as you rightfully mentioned, Sean, of a dual system of justice.
Explain the nature of this evidence that they had right at their fingertips and they didn't allow investigators to see.
Yeah, we can only get a little glimpse of it from the descriptions in these letters and correspondence that I was able to look at. But it appears to be highly classified information, possibly some of copies of Hillary Clinton's emails or people who looked at them or other evidence of communication around Mrs. Clinton's email server. It is highly, highly classified. So classified that some members of Congress, even though they have high levels of classification, couldn't see it. Only special people could go into a specialized SCIF. So whatever this is highly, highly sensitive information. But the FBI should have saw it 3 years ago.
All right, that has to be gotten to the bottom of, John. That's pretty serious.
It's extraordinary.
Right. Lindsey Graham said that the IG report on FISA abuse will be chilling, and then he said Horowitz will come to his committee to testify, get all the time he needs, tell the country exactly what happened. It will be in public. They will do as much as possible in the open. Now the question is, okay, if in fact, based on your reporting, that they were all warned that the dossier was dirty, it was Russian lies. Then later we find out the FBI mapped out 90 to 100% was false. But it was the bulk of information to obtain the warrants to spy on the president, his transition team, and then presidential candidate. The question is, if I lied to a judge, if I had a premeditated fraud before a judge and I was warned it was a fraud ahead of time, multiple times, would I be going to jail?
You absolutely would. And the question remains, will those who were involved in this case face the same form of justice? What I can report tonight is that the IG has completed his work.
You agree with me? I'd go to jail, right? You'd agree Sean Hannity would go to jail.
Yeah, and I would too, and I would expect to. Listen, if I did those things, those are criminal in nature. So what I can report tonight, Sean, is that the IG has completed his work on the FISA abuse report. It's expected to be transmitted as early as next week to Attorney General William Barr, and that will begin a process of declassification. I think we're still on track for that timeline I've been saying on your show. Mid-September to early October seems the most likely release point.
All right, John.
And it's going to be a tough report.
Solomon, investigative reporter, thank you. Now, for years, Judicial Watch, they have used the Freedom of Information Act suits to chip away at